Well, what is up, everybody? Keith, aka Gator Guy 231, here to break down Saturday's 3-game EPL slate. By the time this video is up, I'm doing it Friday morning, but it'll be posted sometime Friday afternoon. That Friday EPL slate will be well underway. Hopefully, you all did well. A quick reminder, bottom right of the screen, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Our channel keeps growing. Really appreciate everybody for the support. Hope you guys are enjoying all the free content. Look for more evergreen and kind of DFS tips and just like kind of how a lot of our coaches have gotten where they have and their DFS endeavors. Look for that to come, including hopefully sooner than later. I'm gonna be doing kind of a DFS Soccer 101 series, which I'm really looking forward to have down on paper. Just trying to get the time to do it. Hopefully during the international break, get a few parts up. So look for that. All right, let's jump into the games. I want to start out with odds. We'll have the cheat sheet up by the time this video is there. Just this morning, have time to do it right now. So let's just jump on into it. So start out the first game. Palace hosting Leeds. Leeds plus 153 favorite. Palace went plus 197. I'll tell you what. I really like this bet. I'm not a huge bettor. I need to get into that, especially in soccer. I think some of these odds are so soft, but I really think that Leeds is going to come back strong after really just getting worked over by Leicester. And here's the thing. They outpossessed Leicester, who's a much better counterattacking team than Palace is. Palace plays very similar to Leicester in the fact that they want to hit on the counter. Just the issue is they don't have Vardy. They don't have an extraordinary midfielder like Tillmans. They just don't have the pieces. So I do think that Leeds bounces back strong here. One of the biggest things that I'll go over this in the picks, but even though we like Leeds, they're not like the most DFS friendly team. So just because I feel like I like Leeds, I think they're still more GPP suited than cash games. But that said, we might still want to try to take a shot on a few players, maybe especially a guy like Jack Harrison, which again I'll talk about shortly. All right, big favorite on the slate, big. After a week of UCL where we had like minus 1,700 faves and things like that. But Chelsea minus 246 hosting Sheffield United, who has been awful this season. Really don't want to see Sheffield get relegated, but especially if you're spending a lot of money. As opposed to last year when they kind of just did it with the team that they had in the championship. But I think Chelsea obviously is going to be the team that decides things. I'll just say this. Chelsea's not the most DFS friendly. Ben Chilwell is taking corners for a while. Now he has 2 straight games not taking them. Mason Mount takes 4 corners last weekend, but only 1 results in a cross. Then in the Champions League, they have 2 total corners after playing up a man for 45 minutes. So, from a floor perspective, Chelsea's tough. But that said, they're going to be where we're probably looking for goals. And then the other thing I just want to say, because I was postulating in our Discord last night that, Chelsea needs to rotate. They just played Wednesday. Now they're going to be playing Saturday. But here's the thing. The international break's upon us. So really good chance that these coaches just go to their guys, hey, one more. Just give me one more. You get a little bit of time off. You get to go to your international team. Get a little bit maybe lighter training, that type of stuff, and go from there. So especially Chelsea without Pulisic, I don't know how much rotation they can do. So that would be the lineup to watch for, though. Sheffield, it's been really tough for DFS, but they do have 2 values that we can look at. I'll be talking about Max Lowe and Ben Osborne, but they make a lot of the builds happen. All right, final game. West Ham is a slight favorite at home, minus 118 to Fulham plus 337, 2.5 total. West Ham has played some really difficult games. I think it's City and Liverpool are their last 2. So I'm going to be talking about how those game logs might be misleading, but West Ham might be a good team. I think that their stinker to start the season off really threw us off the scent, but West Ham might be actually a good team. All right, let's jump into just some of the picks, and then I'll just say this: if you have any questions, make sure you hit the comments. A lot of people, are reaching out to me on Twitter, and I really appreciate it. I'll just say this: I get a lot of can you help me make a lineup, or can you make a lineup for me? That's not the process here. The process is to teach people to be better players. If you want core plays and just some overall help building, definitely encourage you to join FSI. But not giving you all lineups. Here to help you try to learn DFS, soccer, and become better players. So let's talk about forward. First, I just want to say this on the pricing. Olivier Giroud at 9,300 is 900 more than Timo Verner. He is, who's the other? And 1,900 more than Tammy Abraham, both of which start over him. It's just kind of a funny pricing quirk here. But I guess it's if you are French, you have the insanely good looks of Olivier Giroud, then you deserve to be the most expensive player on the slate. All right, so Wolf Zaha and Andrews Townsend, I think those are GPP only plays to me. Townsend, here's the thing we know about Leeds. They consistently dominate possession, and we know that Palace wants to play on the counter. Townsend's crossing has gone down since Milosevic has been reintroduced, and he still has some risk with PVA in the lineup that he could lose some sets. So I think I'm off on Townsend at 9,000. I don't even think I'll play him in GPP. Will Zaha, on the other hand, I think for GPP is a very, very good play. He will not get ownership because of the Chelsea guys behind him. I think a lot of people are going to try to fill in GPP possibly two Chelsea forwards, or like in cash. I think popular pairing will be like Timo Verner and Jared Bowen, something like that. So I don't think that's Wolf Zaha at 9,200 will get a ton of looks. And look, when we're talking about a counterattacking style being how you could hurt Leeds, like Zaha is like one of the guys immediately that comes to mind as somebody that could hurt them. So 9,200, yeah, the price tag's kind of gross. So it'd be more fun if he was 7,200, but maybe that just lowers his ownership a little bit more. Timo Verner, I think, will be, as long as he starts, will be the most popular player on the site. He's a little underpriced. Did get PKs back from Jorginho. Look, it's 8,400 for the guy. I don't look at goal odds, but I would just assume that he has the highest goal odds on the slate. So, normally we pay 10,000 for that type of player. Forward is really tough. There's not going to be a lot of floor here, so I think Verner is where you could go. Patrick Bamford continues to show up with huge shot floors. I think he is in play. Again, just at 8,100. Why do you not spend 300 more for Verner, who with especially with PKs is more likely to score, or drop down. I'm going to skip over Mitrovic, but just for the point of Jared Bowen, who last season, if you remember, once he came over not on loan, once he came over permanently, he was from, Hull City, was just fantastic for them. Double digits day in, day out, or day in, game out. And now, because of, what was it? Liverpool and Man City, 3.6 and 1.8. Well, a lot of guys put up those type of performances versus Liverpool and City. Before that, we had 8.3 floor versus Tottenham. We have a goal here, so that's roughly still, 11.7 if you take out the 10. 30.3 versus Wolves. So there is still floor here. So I think that he's, probably the proper cash forward to pair with like a Timo Verner, or if you want to go Zaha or Bamford, whatever. But I think your floor play is Bowen. Mitrovic GPP. I'm going to need a goal out of him. And I do think that what we saw too versus West Brom is that Mitrovic shot floor that we always have been targeting. Maybe it's not there. Did he end up getting a shot off actually? I'm just curious. Yeah, no shots. So not nearly the floor play that we once had for him. I would just say Adamo Lookman 7,300 is okay. Did take some sets last game, although did take a couple of them short. Tammy Abraham, I should just mention, I accidentally clicked on him, but if he starts, he's a dart throw, but again, you need a goal. I think Verner gives you a little bit more floor out wide and gives you a little bit more equity with being on PKs, because Chelsea seems to just get a ton of them these days. But Tammy 7,400, I think he would get some steam. Hell, I could see a lot of people playing him over Bowen and just going like Verner and Abraham if that happens. All right, we're gonna get into like a dead zone here for a while. IU on account for GPP, sure. He's been struggling this year. Helder Costa, I don't know. I haven't played Helder Costa this year, including the time when he was chalked with two goals, so that sucked. But I'm just not a Helder Costa guy. But 6,200, I guess if you just need a punt in there is fine. Batshuayi, I think he'll probably start over IU. He's looked half decent with Zaha. So 5,900, I don't think it's a cash play, but GPP definitely has the upside. We know that Leeds can get a little loose in the back and it's going to give up opportunities. Haller looked terrible versus Liverpool. Watch that whole game. He looked terrible. But with Antonio still out, he's going to lead the line. Fulham definitely can be leaky in the back. So 5,600, again, more GPP. Reed, maybe somebody takes a punt chance on him. He scored and still subbed that half. So that says a lot about how they feel he's playing. And then you have these Sheffield guys, Brewster, YOLO dart. But, we used to make fun of Chelsea's defensively, and then they get Mendy, and now they're studs. So I think I'll pass. All right, let's go to midfield. Midfield only plays, I should say. Hakeem Ziyech is probably going to be a lock in my lineups. Just love the player. He did take a corner midweek, so maybe he's getting some corners back. I don't know. He's a guy that took like all the corners for Ajax, and is a good corner taker at that. I don't know what's going on Chelsea sets, but I do think Ziyech does give us good open play value and a nice price tag. 8,700, I think, is very, very fair for what he's going to do. Without Kai Havertz, too, I think that a little bit more of creativity goes to Ziyech. Let's go down. Jack Harrison is that one Leeds player that consistently is showing a floor. As we see 18.1, 13.6, 14.6, 19.4. Tough game versus Fulham. Go figure. When they score 4 goals, this is the worst performance of the year, 6.7. And then the goal versus Liverpool. So I think Harrison getting a share of corner kicks, good crossing and open play too. I think he makes a lot of sense. And maybe he's like the only guy that you play from the first game. And then you just have, tons of flexibility later to adjust to the Chelsea lineup. Mason Mount. So, gosh, I don't like Mason Mount. I think I don't like him because he always makes things more complicated. Because when he's in, for some reason, I always make the joke that I wonder if like there's some sort of like deeper rooted thing with Lampard, like something he and his family have over Lampard, because I think he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but just how often he gets chosen over some of these other studs that Chelsea has is amazing to me, or how he still gets set pieces over them. But regardless, he did take 4 corners last week. Again, 3 of them went short. He only got credit for 1 cross. Took 1 corner midweek in Champions League. I think he's the lowest owned of all the Chelsea players. But I don't think that – I think he has some of the least amount of goal equity. Like I think Tammy Abraham, Ziyech, and Werner all have higher goal equity. And I don't think his floor is that much better than any of them. So it's just hard for me to see playing him. So I'm going to pass. But, I'm sure he's going to get some ownership in cash. Now that I said him pass, I'm sure he's going to like show up with like a goal and an assist. But just is what it is. So I think he's fine play. I just don't see myself on it. Kearney's probably a little expensive for the slate, but especially losing some sets to Lookman, but 6,900 is okay. I just would say this: if Pablo Hernandez is in, he is going to take maybe at least half to a majority of sets for Leeds. He was really bad versus for DFS. I don't know the game, but he did not do much good for us versus Leicester. Obviously, this is a better matchup here. The only issue is, he's not showing a lot of open play value being stuck centrally. I do think he's a good GPP play because, if you're going to stack Leeds up, I would do the set takers plus like Bamford. But in cash, I think it's tough. If he's out, Klitsch would split with Harrison. Also has penalty kicks, so he'd be okay at 61. Jorginho, please, if you want to play Jorginho, find me in games. I don't do a lot of posting for EPL because there's just so many people. I don't want to get auto-matched, but friend me, invite me to a game. Jorginho doesn't take PKs anymore, so to me, he's just absolutely worthless. Fornals has been good, but no floor. Lundstrom, if in, would take a share set pieces for Sheffield. Not going to be like crazy about him. Milojevic is out. Did not realize that. So that does help Townsend a little bit, but that Townsend price still was just ridiculous. 9,000 in this matchup is not good. You could look for Norwood if in. Norwood if in will definitely take some sets. Who I think down here, he would be one I'm going to look for. And the other is Ben Osborne. has been splitting sets in Sheffield. Do I expect them to get a ton? No, but it's 3,200. Add a couple of tackle, a shot, a few crosses, we'll get there. We've detailed a ton of guys we want to spend up for. We want to spend up for Bowen. We want to spend up for Verner. We want to spend up for CH. We want to spend up for, Zaha potentially, Jack Harrison. We want to do all these players. How are we going to get there? A guy like Ben Osborne could help us. You could also easily just say Declan Rice for 100 more. Good player. He is more defensive, but, he's shown up with goals before. So I don't hate it. Yeah, I think that covers the Sander Burge punt play, sure, but it's just a punt. Defender, I think this is where there's going to be a ton of heartburn. Ben Chilwell doesn't have sets anymore, so 6,700 is a lot to pay. I was thinking about how to describe him, and for those that have been playing long enough, people did not roster Andy Robertson, first half of last year before he got set pieces, and he was always 5,500 to 6,000 would be 10% owned. So I think that in a lot of ways, Ben Chilwell is that version of Andrew Robinson that does not take sets. So I don't know how people are going to adjust. I think because the game logs still are crazy, that he still has ownership, but 6,700 is a lot. Is it that much? Is he worth that much more than 800 more than Reece James? Probably not. I think that their open play value is very, very similar. So I think that you almost just take the savings. I guess the upside of Chilwell grabbing sets back because Chelsea sets are such a disaster is there, but it's tough. Joe Bryan's just found the bench. I would be interested. Dallas and Eiling, both fine plays. I think that they both have a decent shot to do okay here. Just not crazy about them. I'm not going to be crazy about any defenders, by the way. So if you see you're oh, I can't figure out who he's liking. It's because I don't really I like all of them okay. I like Aaron Cresswell at 5,500 with a share sets, but he also plays a pseudo back three. Now, here's the thing. He overlaps. So he's still going to potentially get 7-8 crosses in. It's weird. I think I might like Aaron Cresswell the best of all the bunch just because I think there's more certainty there. PBA, no chance. Robinson, I really like at 4,200, not so much at 52. Aspilicueta, I think if he starts, that's interesting. I mean, that'll give you a $600 savings off of James. So watch for that. Kufal, 4,800, I think is very fair, especially, playing that outside wing back. Also Masuaku, 4,300. I think now we're starting to talk about the price range that I do like. Let's see. I'm bearing the lead. There's one down here. We're just going to keep going. Lots of center backs. Nathaniel Klein, who let's just call him a center back because he does not do anything. Center back. Oh, wing back. 2,600 max low. I expect to be very popular. With the injuries that Sheffield's had, we've seen Edna Stevens shift into the back three. Max low as a wing back. 2,600. Yeah, the matchup sucks, but it's 2,600 for a wing back. So I think that's the guy that you play. Whether you play a guy like Ben Osborne or you play, a little bit higher, maybe Oliver Norwood or something like that, max low is going to kind of be the key to the slate and the key to helping you all make your lineups. Goalie, I took my screen away because play who fits. I actually thought one of my subscribers said a great thing in chat when somebody was asking. He said, start with the lowest goalkeeper, make your lineup, and then if you find yourself with extra salary, then start moving up. I think that's a great strategy. I actually did not build that way. I normally took the cheapest home keeper, plugging them in. I think I really like that better. Just take the lowest goalkeeper, see how everything fits, and build up from there. FanDuel specific advice, you're going to shoot for goals. It's FanDuel. So I think Zaha is really interesting, just because I do think he has a really good chance of scoring the counter. Timo Verner and ZH would probably be my two locks right away. And then I'm going to look at defender value as always. So, and again, if you're the first time you're watching, you are playing FanDuel, defender value, center backs get clearances and blocks more often than anybody else gets any other defensive peripherals. You don't get crosses. You do get shots, assists, so fullbacks lose a lot of value. So finding a dog center back that has a chance at clearances, a chance at blocks, chance at interceptions, chance at tackles. So often they have almost close to double-digit floors, and FanDuel still prices them at $5, $6, $7. Makes the rest of the lineup a lot easier to fit the studs. And because FanDuel is very goal dependent on the scoring, you really got to shoot for that upside and those goals. So hope that helps. Guys, thank you all so much. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Once again, Keith, a.k.a. Gator Guy 231. Good luck Saturday, and see you.